man, I just really, really like the balance of this team. I've said it ever since they made the moves for Keon Ellis and Dennis Schroeder, but the depth of this team, especially in the backcourt, is crazy. Like, you can lose Donovan Mitchell or James Harden for a couple of weeks and be completely fine because Schroeder is such a good player and such a competent, like, borderline starter in this league. I mean, he had 15 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists in 28 minutes off the bench. I think that this is just a team that, like, really looks like the best team in the Eastern Conference. I guys know that Boston's the popular team right now. They have moved to the number one spot in the Eastern Conference odds to win the East. But I said this last night on Cashing Out. I don't think that, like, you can look at this Celtics team and say, oh, Jayson Tatum's coming back. This is now just like the Celtics team of last year or the year before, and they should be expected to win the East again just because they have Tatum and Brown and their, role players are playing at such a high level around them. Like, keep in mind, this team lost Jrue Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, and Al Horford. And I think that, like, especially looking at 2 years ago, I know that Porzingis was hurt throughout the finals run, but just over the course of the year and like last year too, the play that they got out of the center position between Porzingis and Horford was like next level good. Like, it was great. Those two were such a good tandem at the 5 for Boston that it's a really big absence. Holiday is such a good two-way player that, like, you really aren't making up for that anywhere else. Even with Derek White playing great, even with Pritchard playing great, like, it's a big loss to lose Jrue Holiday. And Tatum, like the Tatum that you're getting back, even like in the most optimistic scenario, which I am pretty optimistic about it, it's like 75 to 80% of the guy that we saw like before the injury. It's not going to be Jayson Tatum right away. So I just don't see this team being as good as Tatum returns. I think that they're going to be better than they are now. And I think it's going to help them have a chance to win the East. But I don't agree with the thinking that they're the best team in the East. I think that the best team has been the Cleveland Cavaliers ever since they acquired Harden. And I just kind of think that we continue to see that as long as Mitchell comes back healthy and there are no more like long-term injuries for this team. Absolutely loving what I'm seeing out of Cleveland. I think that this team is a real, contender to win the NBA title and not just the East. So yeah, I thought that was a really good game for them last night. It was another game where they did a great job defending Cade Cunningham. 10 points on 4 of 16 shooting for Cade, 0 for 3 from deep. And those are the types of games that make you worry about this Pistons team. And I said it a few times on this podcast. There are 4 teams in the East that can win, in my opinion. Maybe Charlotte if Charlotte gets a decent draw. But I do think that the Pistons are the 4th out of the 4. I think that I have them behind the Cavaliers, the Knicks, and the Celtics. And the reason I do it is because there's just not enough help for Cade Cunningham in terms of just shot creation. I don't know what you're doing on a night where Cade's off, and there could be plenty of evenings where like Cade's not playing like a 35-point guy in the postseason where teams are throwing their best defender on him, sending help his way, getting physical with him. There's just a concern for me with this team and what the kind of makeup of the roster looks like. And I understand they didn't want to shake things up and blow it up at the deadline by acquiring a second star or like a secondary shot creator. But I think that they're going to kind of use this test this offseason, use this test of the postseason to see like what the kind of weaknesses and where this team comes up short-handed. And I think that they're going to find that they need another guy that could create on the ball to pair with, Cade and Duren. I think it's not going to be easy for them to maybe move on from a Tobias Harris, who's like a locker room leader for them, one of the few veterans on the team, one of the few guys on the team that actually has legitimate playoff experience. But at some point, I feel like they're going to have to make that decision, and it might be tough, but that's just where I fall short of saying Detroit is as good as everybody else. And I think that, that game by Cade last night allowed the Pistons to lose.